to take that away as well. I mean, we could just is this just a replay? Can we run back the rest of the draft? Um,
Tinker in it, right?
yeah, I think that was the one. The next one was a Tinker. I'm wondering if we're going to end up seeing eventually they got to ban out the PL, right? Like that has to be eventually taken out.
I mean, Shadow Demon and Terrorblade are pretty good against PL
No, that's true.
in most cases.
Maybe they just
I'm
don't
seeing
feel comfortable.
Alina in the third box for Newbee. I don't know. I just have that feeling.
We'll see if that's indeed what they go for. Well, what were the big issues last time with the draft? It was the early laning stage was a big problem. They're going to ban out the Disruptor this time, so they do leave that open. And Witch Doctor going to be taken again. It's worth noting that this time Newbie is also on Dire Sides. That changes things pretty significantly as well.
Yeah, I mean, Terrorblade isn't a hero that gets that much benefit from being on Dire Side. He is very good at taking down Roshan with the Metamorphosis, but that is very, very heavy commitment because of the cooldown being so long. And now going up against Elder Titan and Beastmaster, the vision there from Vici Gaming is going to be up more often than not. So you can't really sneak that one either. But this is going to be, hey, a little bit different from Newbie. Still kind of the same concept for the most part. You just bubble them and you throw the arrow and you should be able to get some kills. But this may not be a support Naga Siren, so this may just be a Naga Siren mid, which we saw Vici Gaming try to do in game one and failed because she was unable to get off to a good start. It seems like that's really one of the big problems for both these two teams, that in like all these games they're just like that one guy who just can't get off to a good start, and then the whole draft kind of falls apart because of it.
Yeah, I kind of sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. I'm kind of wondering also, like a roaming support combo, is that sort of the way that they might end up running it instead? I mean, Shadow Demon Mirana is like the classic combo that you end up seeing, just to be able to get that disruption into an arrow. It's not quite as great against Morphling though, so maybe they just do it to try and secure a great early start for Mu. I guess that there's that duality where they can run it that way if they want to, or they can go for the Mirana mid that we're more used to seeing nowadays.
And the thing is, you could try to go for that, and you'll find times when it works, but there are so many ways that Vici Gaming have to interrupt that combo, assuming there are multiple heroes in the area, just by throwing out a Stomp from the Elder Titan or a Paralyzing Cask from the Witch Doctor, or simply like having more heroes there. You could just take the bullet, and if your combo of support Mirana, support Shadow Demon doesn't work, there really isn't that much like backup plan there. It's really hard to get an Aghanim Scepter on Mirana after a failed early game as a support. So it's a lot of risk for, at this point, not much reward. If they do grab more pushing, like, you know, a DK in that fourth box like last game, then there's a little bit more reward and you're a little bit more willing to take that risk, because if you do get that kill, you'll probably be able to get at least a tower off of it as well. But it just seems like for right now, this Mirana should be played a little bit more as a core. And they could still play that control game, but ooh, they're going to grab a Timbersaw here that has been, well, not picked yet. I'm not sure if he was banned.
Yeah, I don't think that he was actually banned out. I really like this hero against the Terrorblade often, but he's also great against pretty much all of Vici Gaming Reborn's heroes. I want to say there's no silence that's going to be there. Beastmaster can kind of destroy him and wreck him if he's not careful, but more often than not, you're going to want to try and secure that like hard disable on the Terrorblade, I would imagine. I guess being able to take Timbersaw out is a pretty good consolatory prize, but it does sort of feel a little bit odd to me now, and I kind of feel like this is going to end up being a Mu Timbersaw, and then they try and put a KP on like a Tidehunter or something else like that. That's the strong initiating hero, because I don't really like when I've seen KP do really well. One of the ways that he ends up going for it was like his old school Doom that he would run, or running on like the Tidehunter, and those to me feels like his very comfort picks. But that being said, he's probably comfortable running whatever the team needs. But it feels like another strong, like, control hero needs to be a part of this lineup for it to work from Newbie.
Yeah, or either, you know, take the control game and take those fights a little bit slower, or just get like all out aggro push and try to take it that way, which is another thing that you can do, but is probably again a little bit too risky going up against what Vici Gaming have, who are also, you know, picking heroes as well. And Morphling with the Witch Doctor is an incredible amount of damage. Like, Morphling Elder Titan is fairly disgusting. Like already shotgun is pretty crazy, but even without that shotgun, even with just like a little bit of stats or a heavy agility morphling, you can easily tear down a Mirana. Shadow Demon. Terrorblade is a fairly easy kill at that point as well, simply because he won't have a ton of armor. So Vici have a very, very high damage set of heroes. Their control is situational and may struggle to land properly up against a Mirana, up against a Timbersaw, and up against Disruption from the Shadow Demon. But there is definitely potential here for Vici Gaming to land their stuns where it counts and actually get those kills afterwards. Really, Vici Gaming, they don't really have any glaring weaknesses in their draft right now, as long as they have a good start. It seems like most of their bases are covered.
No, definitely. The only thing is the actual damage in the early stages of this game, and around the time when the TB would come online. That's the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, because you look at Witch Doctor, he doesn't provide that much. Level 6 even isn't going to be super significant by the time he gets it. ET can sort of amplify everything, but doesn't provide a lot of his own right. I still want to see one of these initiating heroes out of Newbee for a last pick. Darkseer, Faceless Void, and Tidehunter all banned. It's kind of a rough look. Maybe the Doom is worth taking here. I wouldn't hate it necessarily, but they're going to go back for the Night Stalker. It's tough. I kind of like it, but I'm worried that they're going to kind of fizzle out. It's going to be a really hard game for him, I feel like.
I mean, it is some form of control. I do believe it is KP to pick the Night Stalker, up the Night Stalker most of the time for Newbee. So, I mean, there's familiarity there, and Night Stalker Timbersaw typically want to be played in a very similar fashion. Their timings are very, very similar. You just get a handful of levels, and then you just go around and start killing things. And when you have a Terrorblade behind you, able to take towers off of those kills, then your draft is just going to be a pretty standard pick-off draft. You'll have the advantage of Vision with the Night Stalker, Moonlight Shadow from the Mirana, and an insane amount of burst damage with push to back it up. This draft does not do well if they are unable to get out of the early stage without enough gold and without enough experience, much like in the last game. But if they just get a little bit ahead, Newbee can snowball and actually end this game within 20 minutes. We probably won't see that necessarily, but the potential definitely is there. Vici Gaming grabbing a Templar Assassin as their last pick. Now, Newbee don't really have a ton of tools to get rid of that defensive shell, at least not early on, but this is not really a hero that is going to have a great time going up against a Night Stalker, and Shadow Demon Ron is also a pain for a low-range hero, so this is a pretty risky pick for Vici.
Yeah, it's the Mikasa wheelhouse. He likes those old school mid lane heroes that are just gonna be able to sort of run the gamut of the try and dominate. Basically, we did see that Mu was able to pretty heavily destroy Mikasa in game number 1, and it's definitely new school versus old school. I mean, Timbersaw mid versus a Templar Assassin. I'm concerned a little bit about it just because he's gonna need to a reactive armor. I feel like ends up working and is stronger than the refraction abilities, because you can just sort of right-click him down and not really care all that much about the damage that's coming in. But I did say that the one problem that the draft had from Vici Gaming Reborn was that they didn't have a ton of damage going into the mid-game. Templar Assassin solves that. The other one that I was thinking might come out would have been like a Queen of Pain or something, as it does look like Chuan might recognize that ward was placed down early and might be able to get a deny off of it as well, or clearing it out.
Something that the Templar Assassin does do here much, much better than most other mid lane heroes is that she adds a lot of vision to the map, just psionic traps everywhere. You're expecting a heavy roam game from Newbee with the Mirana, with Mirana played by Chuan, with the KP Night Stalker. So as long as you have some traps in some places, at least a trap looking at Roshan, looking at your mid lane entrance routes, then the Templar Assassin will be able to at least keep her allies a little bit safer. So there is a lot of advantage in that, combined especially with the Hawk, with the Elder Titan Spirit, and VGR are going to be fairly hard to surprise without first using. Oh, they're going to throw an arrow at Yang. That is nowhere close. Pretty ambitious.
Yeah, they wanted to get that one. That would have been a pretty huge play if they could have found it, but not going to be able to do it. We do have a little bit of a river painted purple. Good stuff.
So triggered by these river things. I hate it. I hope Newbee lose.
Oh no. Biased caster indeed. Look out, world. Here they come.
Don't paint the river and I won't root against you.
Oh my goodness. Well, Moo here is going to end up not quite getting caught, and Yang may be in a little bit of trouble. He's stunned up. Body blocks coming out from Chuan, just keeping him contained. Can they actually find this kill? They're still there, and another little set there from the Whirling Death. One more right click, but not going to be able to find it as of yet. How even popped the Metamorphosis for that one? Not the biggest deal in the world, but it would have been nice to find the kill. It'll push Yang back.
I think if he gets Reflection there, level 1, a couple more right clicks might just get that kill. But either way, his skill point is probably not going to be like wasted all that much, since they should be able to keep this top lane at arm's length. Just the Mirana and Shadow Demon threat. It is here. FY kind of forced to be here as well, but he's not going to be entirely relevant in this lane until he gets his Astral Spirit level. It's probably just going to be mostly sacrificed lanes, at least off lanes, but they find him in the bubble.
Yeah, this is going to end up being a kill. Yang goes down there, and a pretty nice combination. I mean, you can see that they still have... Oh, Fairy Fire? Almost there. First Blood goes the way of the Shadow Demon, although Kaka is going to pay for it as Elder Titan finds the kill. A lot of bonus damage on that ET. The thing I was going to say is that you still have ET who's going to be able to deal really effectively with Terrorblade and his armor late game like we saw last time. The big difference maker is that I don't think it's going to get to the stage as easily as it did last time, where they're just very far ahead. House still under fire from FY.
Oh, Chuan was like 3 mana away from an arrow. That could have been really bad for VGR. But they're actually rotating a whole bunch of heroes up here now. It's a full offensive tri-lane, which means that KP can go down to the bottom lane and actually have a decent lane versus this Morphling. But he's just taking it easy in his own jungle for right now. Now, Newbie's tri-lane is very, very dangerous versus one hero. Up against 2 heroes and then 3 heroes, it gets subsequently a lot weaker, just because other heroes can absorb the interception of the arrow and just kind of nullify the entirety of Newbie's lane. You can just beat down the Terrorblade, out-damage his Metamorphosis when you have this many heroes here. So this is a pretty appropriate response, I would say, as far as going up against Terrorblade. You got to pressure him if you actually want to have a chance at slowing down his early game push. But over in the mid lane, actually, we got ourselves a almost entirely even lane. But I think Timbersaw, he's just not going to take any damage. Reactive Armor is pretty good up against TA, who's fully physical.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, this is what I was talking about. He can just keep on hitting Mikasa in the face over and over again. And there's not really a great response. Chuan is still looking to see if he can find an arrow, and if they manage to hit one, this is definitely going to be able to be a kill, but it's not the easiest in the world to actually make that happen, and it does still look like VGR realized that this could be something that's going on, and so playing safe in the mid lane. Mikasa not going to get caught out. But yeah, to get back to your point about the sort of safe lane, Morph lane left to his own devices, since KP already went Iron Talon jungle, he can't really go back into the lane as effectively now. Like, Morph lane is pretty big and could probably cause him trouble. Oh, arrow almost there mid, but not going to be able to get it. Mirana denied herself to neutrals.
Night Stalker leveling in the jungle, can take the express route back to the base. It is still pretty quick, just Iron Talon will do that for you. His armor and base damage are incredibly high, so it's very similar to Beastmaster jungle, just minus the summons. They're going to check another arrow up towards top lane, it's going to miss, which means Hao is in a lot of trouble. Maledict has been on him for a while now. I'm not sure if that's going to be lethal damage, it's actually nowhere close, so yeah, he's going to live. But every single like failed aggressive attempt here with VGR is still time where the Terrorblade is not farming. They're even going to cancel the salve, but they might lose their own life because of it. FY tagged with the arrow is going to get clobbered by this Terrorblade and his illusions. And for VGR, they're not in a spot where they can intercept, so it will be a canceled salve, but at a steep cost.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that you end up getting the wraparound there with all those illusions after the disruption. It's just a really difficult lane. We do finally have KP who's going to start messing around with N down here in the bottom lane as the 4-minute mark comes in, continuing to right-click him. He does have a silence available if he wants to go for it, but already switching over to waveform. There's also the ET in the area. KP not going to end up getting taken out, but it looks like he's able to still harass that Morphling fairly effectively. Top lane, they end up being able to get the arrow onto Yang, and that should be another kill going the way of Hao. Mirana actually is the one that ends up picking it up. Now possibly going to have some action mid. No, they're fine, but a lot of action all across the map as nighttime falls.
We'll see if KP can actually get anything else going here. Trading hits with the Morphling, usually pretty good, but Morphling has more regen in the tangos, and Night Stalker does not. So he's forced to go all the way back, but this is Newbee actually getting off to an okay start in this game. So unlike last time in Game 2, we'll actually see Newbee's draft, the game plan of Newbee's draft at least come together in some significant way for some portion of this game. And with VGR's heroes, you kind of expect to fall at least a little bit behind within the first 10 minutes of the game and then try to recover afterwards. So this is going to be pretty much the game according to both teams, and it's always more interesting to see when game plans are actually able to work out. But right now, KP still staying around this bottom lane. Gonna go 1v3 soon enough. There's a cast, not bouncing though. That'll show him.
Got him, indeed. Chuan now looking for the arrow. Can throw it if he wants, but the trap spots him out. So no great luck in terms of being able to find the kill. FY is now here as well. It looks like they're still going to be able to keep it cool, calm, and collected. I mean, it's worth noting that we've been talking about last hits. Also, levels are really important. KP is level 5. You've got the off-lane Beastmaster who's stuck at level 3. They have been able to get a lot out of this laning stage, and now, with a 3-person smoke gank, wherever lane they go to, they're probably going to be able to find a kill with this. And it looks like it might be FY, or possibly even Mikasa that ends up going down because of it. No, it's going to be FY. He ends up falling. Timbersaw gets the kill and the bounty rune.
Well, it's a pretty easy kill there for the Newbee squad, and this is something that VGR are kind of going to have to suffer through because they decided to go for that trial lane. They have slowed down the Terrorblades farm a little bit, but honestly, just 300 gold behind the free farming Morphling, not really a substantial loss there, and Yang could have been free farming his own jungle the entire time without really any response from Newbee. He could also be level 5, pushing level 6 at this stage, but instead, well, he's going up against 4 heroes, can't even touch the lane. He does have his Iron Talon. I think it's time to just abandon ship. Like, you can't hold a tower up against this many heroes. Plus a Terrorblade level 6 with the Metamorphosis turned on. They're actually going to rotate over towards mid. This is the first nighttime phase. We very rarely see Night Stalker get this much action for the first night.
Ooh, this could be a problem. KP does spot out Mikasa, but they do have the silence now down on top of him. Haystern still keeping him fine for the moment. They get the disruption. Maybe going to be able to find something here. The arrow not quite going to hit as the Haystern kept him alive. Yang now going to drop, though. So they end up being able to find one so far. Maybe going to be able to get a little bit more. Mikasa, Haystern about to wear out. And no luck as far as continuing this outside of DDC going down in here in mid.
Okay, well, this deficit that we're now going to see VGR experience probably a little bit more than they planned for. Now
Mikasa?
Tower's going to follow Mikasa.
Oh,
this
no.
one's definitely going to land.
That was not the play. That was not the play in the least bit. Holy hell, 1-7. Like, this was really even beforehand, and now a tower gone, 5 heroes in your jungle. I was about to make a point that I felt like Newbee were kind of playing this badly. Previously, they would like place a ward behind the tower to try and find a kill, and they weren't able to get it that time. But now they're just showing that they can dive. They don't even care. FY is going to get jumped upon here and might be able to break this. The sleep is going to keep him down, so N finds the kill on the Night Stalker. Maybe going to be able to get a little bit more out of this. Newbee is still chasing and is going to have 4 stacks. That's going to be a kill. Morphling takes down the Timbersaw, though, and Kaka's still alive. DDC taking damage, but it's not going to be enough. So the 2-for-1 exchange after a really good fight from Newbee means that VG are bringing it back a little bit.
Just a little bit. Morphling is able to use his net worth, just the power treads, level 4 in the waveform, to actually some decent effect, and Newbee deciding to take that fight right next to the daytime timer, like it was like 15 seconds until it was actually daytime, was inherently incredibly risky from them. So they do get appropriately punished for that. But the couple of kills that VGR actually got there are not really going to be stopping Newbee from doing something very similar come the second nighttime phase, or even like right now if KP feels like popping the darkness. He's got allies in the area, including a Timbersaw, so the damage department is full. They're looking at a Templar Assassin right now who is just not having a free time as far as being able to farm up the lane without any interference. They will see the smoke though with this Observer Ward, so at least they'll be able to avoid that one. But still, this Terrorblade, he is a concern because he is able to do a lot more useful things in this early stage than a Morphling, tower pushing wise, just fighting wise, and Newbee should be looking to abuse that. If they get a pick off, or really if they don't, they could pretty easily just force down towers or even force down Roche.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, I would imagine. And they are still going to be looking for a kill here as they are going to be able to get the disruption onto end in just a second, I assume. Oh no, waveform away. They weren't going to be able to find him. Arrow looking, not going to be able to get it though. And he dodges away behind the tower. I don't know if they're going to be able to dive this, but they're at least going to try and push down and secure this objective. So, pieces working for Newbee. This is still the timing that they want to hit. Oh, and maybe going to be able to find End. Oh my god, that was really close to going down. Stacking up those stacks of the Shadow Poison. 3 now on top of him. He's silenced. He's just going to go down. How did he not leave?
He had 17 seconds
no.
something like that on his TP. And you don't want to teleport into that because this is a freaking Terrorblade there. It's scary. So yeah, and just finds himself in the wrong place, the wrong time. I think he maybe could have gotten away with just waveform and hide, or waveform and try to book it. Something like that with TPs coming in from the tier 2s, but Morphling's still going to fall, tower's still going to fall. And Newbee, they do lose a tower of their own over in mid lane, and VGR now have their Roar active on the Beastmaster. So this area of dominance from Newbee is not going to last for so much longer, where it's going to be completely uncontested. But Metamorphosis has run its course. I think it's time to fall back and wait another 80 seconds for another one.
And this really favors Vici Gaming Reborn. Templar Assassin's going to be able to finish off these Ancients here, and this is going to be a nice little bit of our way, either A, towards that Desolator, or B, going back for the Blink Dagger. But you can actually see she's struggling taking them. It's a pretty large stack, even with the Refraction charges getting burned through. It needs to be careful here. Yeah, she should be fine, I think. All right, be careful, Mikasa.
Don't ever say she should be fine.
That's
how you kill people, man. That's how people die. But no, but seriously, she should be fine.
Look at that. She was fine. Well, now we've got, as we're taking a look at some of the items that are online, Morphling still building his way towards that first Lincoln Sphere, and the Ultimate Orb going to be online. He actually gets the recipe first. It's still a game where you have to be concerned. Like, there's a lot of single target things that mess with them and are going to be able to break it. So I'm pretty concerned about the Morphling's ability to stay alive as this game goes on. But as long as N has pretty good positioning, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world for him.
He's probably going to have to go for a couple more defensive items. Blocking Crippling Fear is perfect, but you could very easily just throw a Demonic Purge or a Disruption into the Morphling and be okay with that, just throwing those trash spells out onto the Morphling's Lincoln Sphere effect. So it's still going to be an item worth getting for sure in this game. What I want to see from VGR is how they respond to this first nighttime phase, where they're actually going to get a shot to use this first Roar. I think first Roar. They have the Smoke and Deceit on the Beastmaster. There's no book on him just yet, but they do have a Death Ward, which is almost just as good, if not better, than a book. You just roar them, Death Ward them, and most heroes should die to that, but I don't think they're going to have the time of day. They're already being pushed over in mid. There is a fortification here. There is a couple of spam spells. They get the Roar off on the Terrorblade, and 100 is zeroed. There used to be a Terrorblade there. Newbee, where is your Shadow Demon? He is nowhere nearby. He actually just teleported in.
Yeah, that was super bold. I mean, Mu was trying to mess around a little bit. They threw out the arrow from Chuan and didn't spot anybody, so I guess that they thought they were going to be safe, but now that possibly opens up the avenue for them to chase down Mikasa. Arrow not going to hit. He went down towards the south, and oh god, that's a scary moment. He's not TPing out. They realized that he's in the area, though, that he must have headed out of there, but little do they know there's a Templar Assassin hanging out very close nearby. As I'm looking at the net worth, Newbie's still ahead by about 1,000. Do they spot her? Oh, okay.
Arrow Destiny.
Oh god. Oh man, that was scary.
All calculated. You can't easily kill off a Templar Assassin like that. That's not how that works. Newbee are not going to get anything. Second nighttime phase looks like it's going to be a little bit of a less active one, as they've actually grabbed a fairly early Hand of Midas on Night Stalker. Now, this is just a good value item to have, just because attack speed is actually pretty legit on the hero, plus the fact that, well, now he's looking at Ags, looking at upgraded boots at a reasonable clip, able to keep his farm up even during the daytime, in both daytime and nighttime. They actually have to make sure not to, sit back on this item, Newbee. They have to still get their farm on these heroes and still apply that pressure. I don't really want to give this Morphling any breathing room, because he is in a pretty good spot with his own team, especially once Elder Titan gets a couple more points in that aura. Then Morphling and TA both can legit one-shot some of these Newbee heroes.
Oh, it's definitely going to be an issue as the game goes on, and I wouldn't mind seeing eventually, the Night Stalker picking up an AC. That to me feels like a good item for him to get. It's often one of those situations where it's like, after Ags, what do you want to go for on the Night Stalker? But AC is just so great this game to help mitigate that armor loss that you get from the Elder Titan. And maybe Lotus Orb is still worth going for, but last game you ended up seeing that the Terrorblade actually had to go for the AC himself, which is not necessarily what you want to have to go for. You want to go for those big stat items, the Scotty to be able to solo kill people. So with the Hand of Midas up, it gives Newbee a little bit more of that scaling into the late game potential. It's still just so scary going against the Morph lane. As we are going to see Moo get roared, and now in a little bit more trouble. Does have a lot of stick charges, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to keep him there. He does get a little bit of damage out. Not going to burn through all of those refraction charges from Mikasa, as Chuan is going to be looking. Oh, real damage coming out from him for the moment. DDC taking a couple from that Metamorphosis. That's going to be a kill. Arrow is going to hit. Mikasa controlled for the moment. They do have the silence down as well. Crippling Fear is already going to be there, and Mikasa's in a lot of trouble. He is going to fall. Nicely played, and it's all set up by that Chuan arrow. Maybe going to be able to have another one. 2 seconds with the leap. Be a pretty big play if he could find Yang. He's actually walking right into him and might be able to take him down here. A couple right clicks. I think the rest of his team is too far away.
I don't think you get hit by this if you're Yang.
Okay.
That was a little close, but he still wasn't hit by it, so I'm still technically correct. He'll take down the tower with the rest of the Metamorphosis, but Newbee, yeah, they do take down the TA. They do lose their Timbersaw for it, and they get a 2-for-1 and a tower. So it's still, in the grand scheme of things, pretty good. But Moo's farm right now isn't really translating into all that much for right now. It really does need to pick up some of those Bloodstone charges. Then his farm can actually be useful. But they do use the second nighttime phase to, in the end, take down some of these towers. If they take down this mid lane tier 1 tower, that'll free up Roshan a little bit for the Newbee squad. As long as they have sentries with the traps and whatnot, then they are looking to be pretty much on pace for where they want to be in this game, especially if they're able to get this gold up on Chuan. He's actually looking at a pretty fast mechanism for a Mirana, and that's an astounding amount of farm considering she has no Starstorm.
Yeah, that's been a very interesting thing for me. The skill build, maxing out Arrow as well as the leap. It makes sense given the context of the draft with Kaka being able to set up the arrows. But we've actually seen him hit a couple of them just blind. As Yang is going to take a little bit of damage there. The Boar still holding the line for the moment. There's going to be defensive disruption for the moment. Just create a couple more of those illusions. Roar is going to end up getting dropped now, and DDC in a lot of trouble. Mikasa trying to bring down Moo. Mirana's already killed off the Witch Doctor, though, and End in the midst of everybody jumps on top of KP. Not sure if it's going to be enough to bring him down. Mikasa's still there, is going to turn now onto Kaka, and that might be a kill. Oh, nice blink away. Chuan still chasing, not finding, and it looks like Kaka does have another disruption in a second, but with the Moonlight Shadow, they should be able to walk away from this. So at the end of the day, the only one that goes down there is the Witch Doctor. The rest of Newbee might look to see if they can kill off Mikasa's. They do have eyes on him. There's the Sunder looking for more, but not going to be able to find it. Maybe End? Arrow? Looking? Not finding. He's still in the middle of all these guys. Newbee are never giving up. Moo jumped upon him, still able to blink away. Refraction, pretty good. As Morphling kills off the Shadow Demons on the backline. Why didn't Newbee back out? I mean, How can still take this a little bit, but they just replicate away, and Arrow is not going to hit again.
TP out looks like that should stick from How, and everyone else is going to survive. Honestly, that could have been so much worse for Newbee. Like, you chase that far to go after a Templar Assassin with Meld and Blink Dagger. You need some serious stuns or silences if you're going to do that, and Night Stalker had like 200 HP the entire time. So that was incredibly bold from Newbee, and they were able to actually minimize their losses to a surprising degree. But still, VGR, it's the Morphling to sneak into the back of the Newbee formation and just start picking them apart. Got most of his stats morphed into agility, plus the defensive power with Lincoln Spear, soon to be the Ethereal Blade on him, and maybe even a double life. Newbees, well, they are going to be spotted most of the time. There's a Hawk overhead, there's Spirits running about, Moo's going to throw in a Saw, and then mess them up. Chuan's gonna jump in, look for the steal, grabs the Aegis. He's gonna lose his life immediately, but that's already a huge success here for Newbee, because now How, he's roaming in, but he does not have his Metamorphosis. He's gonna hit with the Stomp. Can they focus him down? They have the Roar, but the damage output needs to be there. They have the Death Ward. How? He does have a Sunder, but he can't cast it. In the pit, though, they've already taken the Morphling to take down Mikasa as well. It's a 2-for-2 exchange, but for Newbee, that is so much better than they could have otherwise expected. They deny the Aegis, they take that fight without Metamorphosis, and they still might just get more. FY, caught in the Saw, is going to get some help from the cast, but I don't think he can escape Moo, who's actually out of mana. Maybe he can escape after all. And yeah, it looks like that will be about it. Maybe? No, Moo's still going in for this. He got him! Okay, Timbersaw with 15 Bloodstone charges. That's some serious mana regen. That's an incredible play from Newbee.
That was so good. Oh my god. I mean, and we didn't end up getting the full scope of that recap, but like you were saying, Chuan being able to jump in there and do that. The other thing was that Kaka breaking Blink Daggers while simultaneously stacking up that Shadow Poison. He got a bunch of the stacks on it, and that was part of what ended up making VGR so scared to keep the fight going. Just really good play all around. And it was all also, again, set up by Chuan throwing in the arrow, hitting the Hawk. That took away the vision. He didn't realize it. He was just checking to double check that they weren't going for Roche. And really good recognition. And Newbee starting to build this lead back up again. I'm not super sold on them late game against the Morphling, but they're making the moves that they need to at least take advantage of this window that they've got right now.
At least keep VGR away from any of Newbee's objectives. They're actually going to Moonlight Shadow into Mikasa. Seems like he does know that this is coming. I don't know who revealed it or what revealed it.
I think it was maybe the ET stomp?
Was it?
I think that he sent out the
themselves
stuff.
mid to the creep wave or something.
Oh.
Who knows?
Well, regardless, you've also got a situation now where Night Stalker with the Aghanim Scepter are up. All of these fights are going to be going further and further into their favor. The Stomp is going to end up dropping, and Hao takes a little bit of damage from it, but I mean, take a look at the relative vision right now. Even though they've got pretty decent wards on the side of the Radiant, it's just so scary with Darkness being up. And I mean, Newbee look like they want to keep this one going. They've got the Metamorphosis ready to go and already taking a bit of damage. ET is good for holding the line. It's not an easy one.
Earth Splitter is going to be thrown out. Not a huge asset to throw away there. Doesn't really do all that much. The more relevant thing is that we got End pushing on this top lane, looking for that Eagle Song, and we got bottom lane pushing in by the Templar Assassin. The rest of the team is just trying to stall Arrow. Ooh, they're going to perfectly split away from that one. The tier 2 tower does fall, but it's going to cost them a tier 1 top. It's going to cost them a lot of their tier 2 top lane. That's pretty expensive, honestly, for Newbee. They really wanted to get some sort of fight going there, but VGR playing their spacing correctly. And it is going to be up to Newbee to continuously play on this aggressive style to avoid that late game Morphling. But I don't think they can avoid the Ethereal Blade. That's pretty much up already.
Yeah, that to me feels like still something that's kind of the trump card to a large extent. There's ways to be able to deal with it. You've still got Shadow Demon who can get the bubble to keep your buddies alive. It's a projectile now, so there's responses that can come. And also you've got a Timbersaw that's relatively tanky and is going to be able to regen back up if he's able to get out of the fight for a little while with that, 15 Bloodstone charges that we were talking about. So the last couple of minutes have definitely been Newbee favored. And it just comes down to probably them being able to outplay VGR, which I'm starting to feel like with the Ags up on Night Stalker might be possible. They're going to have that vision advantage constantly, and because of that, they should be getting the better of these initiations.
Hawk's traps, not going to be all that great. Spirit still works. The smoke is going to be used. I don't think it was spotted by that Observer Ward. They're going to take out the Observer Ward, though. Mikasa's going to ping that one out. It looks like they should know that this is coming, but knowing about it and actually preparing for it, two different things. If Newbee really want to take this fight, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, they really want to take out that Observer Ward. I think if they just leave it up, then maybe they actually get their pick and maybe they make some sort of play here, but trying to go for too much value, trying to keep the opponents blind.
I'm feeling again like this is one of those moments where the next couple of fights are really just going to set the tone of it. And I think that if Newbee win one more sort of demonstratively, then they're going to be able to take high ground. There's a pretty good smoke play that's coming out right now from Vici Gaming Reborn. Timbersaw is not with the rest of his team, and his bots are on cooldown. Mirana not going to get caught, and it does look like they're going to back out for the moment. Oh, nighttime just running out. They do have darkness available still, but it looks like they're not going to be able to find that Vici Gaming Reborn.
Oh, but Moonlight Shadow, we're going to see it run back. The Hawk is going to see this, though. What the hell's going on? I feel like they just been seesawing across the map.
I mean, Witch Doctor literally just dropped a word. Oh, the arrow! Oh, Necro Book. Okay, he tanks the gank. Now Darkness popping, and Vici Gaming Reborn need to stick together, but they might be just going into a Bligold. Oh, funnel. This is dangerous indeed. Moose stunned for the moment now. Turning more. Yang taking a lot of damage, and it looks like they're going to end up being able to... Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did your game crash too?
My game didn't crash. I'm live. Are you still here?
Yeah, my game crashed.
Okay, all of Vici Gaming Reborn and all of Newbee just died. They're disconnected from the game. But How had an attack command going, and because of that, he was able to kill Beastmaster when nothing was going on. So Beastmaster's dead. Like, Vici Gaming Reborn are standing together with nothing happening, and they don't have a roar now because everybody disconnected.
Well, this is...
Oh, no.
So, there's no advantage here.
No, there's a big advantage. There's a big advantage. They don't have any control now. Terrible.
Wait, are they actually... Is it not paused? What?
It's paused. It's
Okay.
paused, but already, but like when the disconnect was happening, nobody was
they're
moving.
right next to the timber saw. Oh, that's so bad.
And the Beastmaster got right-clicked to death because How was just going. Everybody disconnected at the same time. And because they did an attack command from How, that killed the Beastmaster. There's a lot of anger in the chat right now. A lot of people are upset.
Hey, at least it's not our fault. We did nothing wrong. It was something that happened over there, guys.
We didn't do this.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm actually not... Does Moo have anything on... anything cooling down right now? My thing's all bugged, I think. Does he actually have all his skills available?
Moo? Yeah, everybody has all of their skills. But
Well, these three heroes, Mikasa, Vici, and N, they got a split. Because the Timber Saw is actually... Well, they have a shotgun combo. Elder Titan's kind of nearby.
I mean, look at VGR. What are they going to use to control this? Like, right now, they have their Elder Titan who's really far away, hasn't even casted Astral Spirit at this point, and the Echo Stomp, it's not going to be able to come out in time. They don't have any way to stop Terrorblade from hitting them. They don't have any way for Timbersaw to not just destroy them.
You gotta try to, like, outburst the Timber Saw and then disengage afterwards away from the TB. I don't know.
I don't
I'm just
know.
trying to think of ways for VGR to salvage this terrible situation. The only thing that comes to mind is use Ethereal Blade.
Use Ethereal Blade and cross your fingers. The problem though also is that actually because they don't have the illusion or the Astral Spirit out right now, Moo has a really high base magic resistance still. Like he doesn't have the reduction, so it's not going to do as much as it would previously either.
No, see, here's the play.
Oh man.
You put the spirit down, right? In
Okay.
between How and Moo, like right in the middle, so the aura affects them both. I think that should be in the range. So you put that there, or at least make it affect Moo, and then at the same time as you cast the spirit, you throw out the Ethereal Blade. And since it's a projectile now, the spirit will come out as soon as the Ethereal Blast lands. You drop your entire combo as the Morphling, then you use the Stomp to keep the Terror Blade out, and then you run like hell.
Can we translate what was said? Is that something that we have the capability of doing? Shen Mi Diao. I feel like I'm probably saying a dirty word. Google Translate. Let's see what's going on.
It's like impossible to use Google Translate though on this.
That's true. Shen
I know who knows. The
Mi
chat
Diao.
knows. Chat is smart.
Okay, so apparently Shen Mi Diao in Chinese detected translates to Shen Mi Diao. So, a little fun fact.
I think that's right. It sounds right.
Yeah. And then Wo Men Yi Dao Le. Yeah, that translates to Wo Men Yi Dao Le. I have no idea. Well, this is not an elimination match.
I think Mikasa said like, "Oh, we all DC'd," and then Chuan is like, "Oh, we also all DC'd," and then they all started speaking Chinese. That's way above my head.
Yeah. We got to get somebody on the phone. Phone a friend. Let's see if we can make this happen. Honestly, though, it's like that was the worst possible time to potentially have I almost said to have a digital chaos. Oh no. Oh no, not again. All
Well,
right.
this is chaos in the digital dimension. You're not entirely wrong.
There's all right. There's no way that VGR win this fight at this point.
Mhm.
There is no way that they're really gonna be. They can probably get out like end. They maybe Witch Doctor doesn't even have his coconuts right now. Man, this is a struggle and a half.
Plus, they're like all in a nice tight
Mhm.
alley for Chuan, who just has a clear arrow shot at anyone.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, there's a illusion here actually from Timbersaw, so maybe it's not a clear shot. It's a
Oh,
mostly clear shot.
yeah, this is a real problem. Okay, so they ended up being able to kill off Beastmaster. This is certainly no fault of newbies. It's not like they, saw that they're all disconnected and then tried to kill off the Beastmaster quickly. Uh, they were just able to, have the A left click and they found a kill. So, okay, apparently Shinmei Dao means WTF.
I was not close.
No. And newbie says we are dropped too.
I got that one, man.
Our Beastmaster has died. That's what VGR said. We are going to disconnect. We dropped as well. I don't know. That's about all that I'm seeing. It's a little bit rough.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's some angry things going on over there.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get any connection from anybody, any of the admins. Any word on what's happening? Question mark? We'll make this happen. So,
I'd be pissed if I was VGR, choosing Beastmaster off of a disconnect, and
It's-
also having everyone else move into this formation off of a disconnect.
yeah, it's really not the best. It's also worth noting that we've got like it's not an elimination match, but the loser has to go down to face Warriors Gaming Unity. We can take a look real quickly at what the other situation is, and that one is still a best of 3 at the bottom. So that's something that's a bit of an issue. But I'm not getting any word back from the admins. I'm sure that I am not their first priority right now, which is as it should be. You can't really remake the whole game either. That's the problem.
No. And Valve still hasn't gotten off their ass and fixed the save thing. It's been broken for like months now.
I mean, I'm looking at it and trying to think also like the other problem is you can't say, all right, everybody go back to your base and then go back to playing because Newbie were able to find this good position. It was going to be a good team fight for them anyways. Regardless of if this happened. Like this is obviously worst case scenario, but yeah, there is no remake though. That's one problem and one of the things that did come about with the switch over to Reborn.
You just gotta play it out. You can't remake a 24-minute game.
That's true. Yeah, there's no way you can't do that.
You know, in Brood War once, I think it was like Flash versus Jaedong or something. They lost power
Oh,
like
right.
30 minutes in, and they actually declared Jaedong the winner off of that. They actually said, "Okay, you win that game."
Yeah.
That's like the absolute worst thing to do, but I mean, some weird stuff has gone down as far as internet issues and saves and declaring winners and whatnot.
Well, in the company that's doing this one, it's Key TV that are operating it. So I'm assuming that they probably have a rule book somewhere that says what happens in this instance. You would hope. There's a
Do you
possibility.
even write your rules around this instance
I-
in case of mass disconnects? I
yeah.
don't even know if you would put that in there.
No, it's true. Well, and particularly like on LAN, because I know that sometimes for other tournaments they'll write rules built around if you disconnect in like online play because you're supposed to secure your own internet connection. But I think that if you're going to host a LAN, you're probably responsible for the internet connection at the venue. Like that seems reasonable, right?
Yep.
All
I would
right.
say that is reasonable.
Harvey told me that he's trying to load, so I don't know
Oh,
what
he's
that
still not
means.
actually loaded in? Is that what the issue is?
Maybe did the I can't go up and down on these ones reconnecting.
I don't know. I don't trust what I see after I drop from a game.
Yeah,
Everything's a lie.
yeah, he might not have actually. The admins might not even be able to get back in.
That means we're the admins now.
All right, guys. That is definitely not the play. That is not what we do here. Oh man. Okay. What else can we talk about? Replay. Wait, what? What? Pardon me? Excuse me?
End is pissed.
Oh no! Oh no no! Au contraire, mon frere. This is not the way to go.
Well,
Don't do it.
to be fair, you only see the word replay there, so I mean,
That's true. It's a pretty.
I don't Chinese at all.
Oh.
I don't Chinese that much,
Yeah.
but I'm judging based off of N's response mostly that this is not a good thing.
Okay. What do we do now? They're still talking about it. There's discussions being had. If we see everybody disconnect out this time around, it's intentional, I would assume. Um, yeah, End is not pleased, nor is Chuan, and I feel like Chuan is somebody you don't want to get on his bad side. The guy, whenever I see him in like interviews and stuff, he feels like a very intense personality, like sort of bubbling with anger right below the surface, you know. Um, Although he also is kind of like a smiley fellow as well. But I don't know.
I don't know. It's always like the calm ones that are gonna snap and kill you.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know these players well enough to say who is that guy, but I'm sure there's one here. And judging off the chat, I'm pretty sure it's End. But of course it's the carry player who's like, dude, I got the most net worth. Look at my build. It's 24 minutes in.
Clearly we
If we
won.
beat this, I'm farmed as hell.
Well, again, I apologize to anybody that wanted to come in and watch some Dota 2. It's always frustrating when these things do end up happening, but we'll try and persevere, keep on giving you whatever updates we get along the way. And in the meantime, just we'll enjoy the situation, take a look at the possibilities as this game goes on. Look at the wards that came in, by the way, from Newbee. Do you see that vision that they've got? That is actually really great. They got so much vision of the enemy safe lane and...
Oh, those wards.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff. I mean, the fight's going on
just
over
looking at-
here.
I was thinking at like the giant bubble of vision from KP.
Yeah,
Night Stalker Ags, man. Pretty good.
I think do they see all of Newbie? They don't see the Shadow Demon, but that's fine.
See, usually in these situations where like some random guy disconnects and then you just have to wait for a couple minutes in the middle of the fight, it's actually kind of enjoyable to like analyze what could possibly happen in this fight
Yeah.
to make it go either way. Like who's just dead off the bat, who actually has some counterplay. In this one, it's pretty obvious, I think. Like
Yeah.
VGR are fairly screwed in this position, unless the admins make some sort of like truce for like 5 seconds and let VGR run away.
No, it's true. And the other thing about this that sort of is a problem that it just again all comes back. Like if Beastmaster hadn't died, that changes everything. Then they could do that. Then they could say, all right, back out. It would suck for Newbie. They got themselves in a good position where they're going to take a fight that favored them. But it would have been at least a little bit more fair. And I think that they probably would have been willing to take that. I'm just thankful that, like, at least it pauses. Like, can you imagine if it didn't pause when... Like, I would just be looking on in horror with... everybody else in the world disconnected from this game, and they just die to how. That right there is at least something we can be thankful for. And
How reconnects and he suddenly has like all the kills, suddenly has like 3,000 gold. It's like, hey, I'm okay with that.
the other thing is, I remember I was talking to some people, and they were telling me about the days back when casters could accidentally unpause the game, and so they stay as far away from that F9 key as possible.
Can we pause the game right now? I never tried because
We can't unpause it anymore. They've fixed that, so again, there's been movements to try and make sure that these things don't end up terribly when these unfortunate circumstances come up. But you can't solve it all. It's a bit of an issue.
Well,
how is he melded? How is Mikasa melded?
I think he probably pressed meld. Wasn't he walking?
Yeah. Like, how did that happen? Because they all disconnected and he should have just DC'd with him just walking straight forward, right?
Yeah, I mean, he must have. Maybe he was melded here and everyone else walked to him.
But
That's the
that
only way
still
it works,
wouldn't
right?
explain, like, if he DC'd, the input from his keyboard should have stopped, right? Like, that makes sense to me.
I mean, you just hit meld and then you DC, right? So you don't do anything else afterwards. You're just there.
Okay.
And then everyone else, they have their move commands, whereas Mikasa had no commands. So then DDC and end, they go to Mikasa because that's where the fight is. And suddenly Templar Assassin is like, guys, get the hell off me. There's a Timbersaw here. I'm trying to ambush him.
Well, I'm still not seeing anything really come of this that looks like they're going to be able to solve it. And I haven't heard anything back from the admins. The unfortunate thing is also they have the rest of the land to play. This is just series number 1. Man, this could be a pretty long situation because, I mean, both the organizer wants to resolve this situation clearly and in the most fair way possible. VGR and Newbie are both going to argue to like benefit them. Just that's the natural case. It's just what's going to happen. And there isn't any situation that solves the problem.
There is, no matter what happens, someone is going to be very unhappy.
Yeah.
But I will say that today, the Perfect World connection has been pretty good. You know, except for this.
Okay. So it looks like we got the translation in Twitch chat. I'm going to trust Dalby2514. I ask first, can we read the save file? But the risk is that the replay might be corrupted. They don't know what the person ended up saying, and then he says, we'll send people to talk to you. So apparently they're trying to work it out right now.
Shout out to Dalby, showing that if you spam enough, we will see your message.
Yeah, I'm going to ban this dude. Get out of here, man.
Stop spamming, you're getting around our 9K.
There we go. Wonderful. All right.
Wow, you're ruthless.
It's okay. It's just a 2-minute ban.
Got him.
We'll come back. It'll be great.
Does the replay even do anything? Can you can load into replays, right? That is something you can do. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do that ever.
That's a good point. I don't know if you can do that anymore. There's a chance that we might be able to.
Reborn. Thanks, Volvo.
I believe.
We can just load from a save. Too bad we don't have that feature. That seems like a pretty cool one. I had that in Dota 1.
I remember playing from that, actually, StarCraft Brood War. That's the original game that I played way back in the day. And they had the same type of stuff. I'd play the custom maps and then figure out how to own all my friends in like the Helm's Deep games.
You pick Legolas or Haldir or some other elf because they're broken as shit.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was the greatest.
Dude, I've played my fair share of Warcraft 3 custom games. The best. I mean, there's always like Footman Frenzy and whatever. Dark Deeds was great. Winter Mall. The custom maps in Dota 2 just don't hold up, man.
Well, I feel like they're sort of emblematic of the way that it goes. Like the custom maps in Warcraft 3 were built around the game Warcraft 3. And like the custom maps in Dota are built around Dota, which is like separate. You picking up on putting down. So like Overthrow is a way to practice and enjoy the fun parts of Dota where you can like show off your individual micro skills without having to be efficient. But I would like to see maybe another one of those sort of, Helm's Deep or other types of games. This is the stuff we talk about when we get 20-minute pauses in the middle of a game.
I mean, even the, what's popular now? Like Gem TD? That's, like, nowhere close. Element is pretty close to being what it was. Then we have all these, like, other lazy games where you would have, like, one lobby in Warcraft 3 over the entire day and it'll never be filled. Where's my Winter Mall, man? That's all I want.
I've never
out
played
of
that
life,
before.
is just play Winter Mall, not be gray because gray sucks.
I don't get it. I feel out of the
Gray
loop.
was always the last defender, so he was always really poor. And then whenever anyone
Oh.
leaked, you couldn't do anything because you weren't killing anything, so you wouldn't get any gold. So
Hmm.
you just lost, and then everyone was angry at you.
Oh, I got it. So Gray is the support of Winter Mall, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Okay, I
The
gotcha.
short end of the stick takes all the blame and none of the glory.
Well, I I always feel like people that try hard in custom games, it's not for me. Like, they pick Enchantress and Overthrow. It's awful. It's just awful. Is there anything else that we can sort of suss out as far as things to talk about this game while we wait? Anything at all here? Scotty maybe eventually going to get picked up by the TB if the game continues? Oh, hold up. I got a message. Why don't you pontificate for a moment?
Well, it's a 4-staff on Shadow Demon. The Terrorblade actually looks very Shadow Fiendy. I don't know if anyone else thinks that. If you zoom in, he looks very Shadow Fiendy. But everyone else, their farm, it doesn't really seem like it's particularly amazing. 2K on the Timbersaw is not bad. I think on the Courier, actually, stupid Portal Scrolls. FY's got a Yule's with nowhere actually close to it. Yule's Recipe. Yeah, I mean, what you see is probably what you're going to get for the next couple of minutes, unless this pause breaks for, a ton of kills.
No. They do look somewhat similar. It's a very scary lineup all around from Newbee. I mean, even Timbersaw is a little bit frightening to look at. You got this big ball of, saws coming out. Mirana's the only one that's somewhat normal, but even she's on a giant eagle. It's not exactly what you would want to run into, can you imagine you're walking down the aisle, like a little, what's the name of it, an alleyway, and the giant eagle comes out with talons. It's like this woman on it with a bow and starts shooting you in the face. It's not the best.
I want to think that Miranda, as a character, wouldn't be doing that. I'd be more scared of Timbersaw. Like, even if he didn't have any saws, just like the look of him, like, he looks freaking crazy, man. Like, you don't know what he's capable of doing. He will mug you and then stab you after you give him all his money because he can. Because that's something that he can do.
Do you
Got
see this
more
Beastmaster, by the way?
Chinese for the chat here.
Check out, look at the Beastmaster in the zoom-in view. He's, exploding. I think that they
Not on
stole
my
his
screen.
soul.
I think it's just you.
Okay.
That was the effects of you surviving the mass DC. Yeah, lots of tinier explosions everywhere else.
Well, we're getting lots of information. I don't know at all what this means. I'm sorry, everybody. My Mandarin is not quite up to date. I did. I learned how to count to 10 in Cantonese when I was in Hong Kong studying abroad there.
That is fairly useless.
Yat yi sam say lo chak ba gao sub. There we go.
Hold on. So now translate this for us.
Okay.
It's not that much difficult.
They're not speaking Cantonese, so I mean, if it was that, it would be fine. I could message KP, but
Yeah.
I think he has bigger things on his mind right now.
I mean, even speaking Chinese is just so much different than reading Chinese. It's a nightmare. Don't want to do that ever.
Well, we'll see what they do. I don't know exactly what the conversation that's being had is. KP threw out the Pudge troll face. I don't really want to all chat to them. I feel like that would not be the best.
Yeah. I don't know about you. I did not read the Nanyang rule books. I don't know what we are and are not allowed to do. It usually happens for all the tournaments, so I just don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's the safest way to go. That way I don't even have to read the rule book.
Well, here's a little fun fact for all the folks out there. Mike, obviously you know this, but there's some tournaments that even get really upset. Actually, all tournaments, if you ping an item in-game as a caster, because it shows up to all the other broadcasters.
Which makes no sense. It should show up to the casters in your channel.
No.
But,
It's all good. Can I see other people's pings on the map, or I can only see yours, right?
You can only see mine.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that just should be the same thing for items, but Valve. I mean, I understand that Valve don't care about those type of things because it affects like
It affects us, like
less than a
two
couple
people.
of like percentage points, like 0.0001 of their player base.
And there's a lot of other stuff to work out and
Yeah, like
balance
loading
patches
from
and stuff.
save games.
My God, like Glorious with no regard for human life. Oh my goodness.
You're the one who banned that guy in chat who was translating for us.
That's true.
Now we don't know what they're saying anymore.
Let's see if we can get any information on the Chinese stream. You know what? I'll bring that up real quickly. We'll throw it over there. See if we can get anything. You'll have to wait 2 minutes before you can see it. Actually, I can just send you the link.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Let me
Maybe
find
a giant commercial.
I'm really curious what they have on there right now. All right, let's see. There it is. And let me bring this up. I've got the Panda loading screen. It looks like they're just doing replays right now of stuff that's already happened. But I'll bring it up for all you guys so you can see what we're seeing over there. Window capture. Let me know if anything changes because I can't actually see my Dota 2 right now. If that's okay.
They're playing some very different music from what we were playing here.
That's true. Okay, so they're just showing some replays of the previous earlier points in the game, which is somewhat interesting to check it out. We got production value abound.
Whose idea was it to have like random scrolling text blurbs over the game?
I don't know. I can't answer that question for you right now. So let's see. We can take a look at some of this. Maybe we can cast some of the highlights. Haugen jumped upon there in the mid lane. You got the Roar onto Moon, as well as a little bit of the Malefice and the Witch Doctor ultimate coming out. They tried to turn that one back around. And here...
The heat-seeking arrow.
Oh, that was good stuff. Yeah, this was a nice kill here on Mikasa as well. Able to find the jump there.
He's really blasting through these kills.
Yeah. It's sort of just the whole game as it developed. That was the dive for Mikasa.
You don't really want to watch Dota. Just watch this. You get to see this Aegis steal from Chuan.
Oh, God, it is beautiful.
Heroic moments.
So it says, all right, we're getting that they will come out with the solution in 5 minutes.
Okay, so they'll come out with a solution in 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right, what else? That kill.
It's loading again.
Are we loading?
No, my stream.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm missing all these important kills that I've already seen. Of course, I saw all the kills because, I have good camera work.
There we go. Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward situation, definitely. But yeah, they should be able to have this happen in a little bit. Yang. Okay, now we're back at the start. That was that first blood.
They got right up to the point where the disconnect happened and they just immediately looped back to like minute 0. Yeah. Now it's just question mark flying across the screen.
Yeah. Is that really what happened? Oh no. There's just one question mark. Alright, I'm getting a panda jumping around. We're gonna have to turn this off now.
Those pandas are ruining everything.
I know. Panda TV, man. It's a rough life. Well, we got to see some of the highlights. Good stuff. Anything else that's going to be coming here shortly? I'm still not getting any updates outside of... it looks like the Chinese stream crashed when Dota 2 crashed. So everything over there crashed, and then you also crashed. Is that correct? You dropped out of it as well?
My game crashed. Like, I actually exited out of Dota, which is weird because that, like, it never happened. You exit out of the game, but you still stay in Dota. I'm not really sure what happened there, but...
Oh, apparently all that stuff going across the top is their chat.
Oh.
Interesting. That's kind of a cool little unique feature.
We should do that.
We should not do that. We most assuredly should not do that.
That would be so sick.
That would be the worst
For
idea.
only cases like these, we'll just be like, chat, can we get some lulls up in here? And then just like
Oh
all across
God.
the screen. It won't even like have the image. It'll just be a lull. And people who are watching from like China,
Yeah.
confused about what's going on in the English stream, they'll just show up and it's like, what's going on? This is supposed to be the official stream. We need to implement this. That's why there was that question mark, because that
Yeah.
one guy typed a question mark.
I mean, occasionally you'll see like there was the thing where it was Twitter feeds that were showing up for the PGL stream. I really liked that one. There was the oh my God, it was also great. It was the Mott Packs. He said, "Thanks PGL. I finally get invited. I finally made it to an event." And he tweeted that at him, and it showed up on the screen. That was wonderful.
There were a lot of them, but it was only like on the first day. They like stopped doing it. They monitored a lot closer after that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was one thing that was definitely going good.
You
Okay,
really have to monitor it closely because people on the internet, they're bad people.
that's
All of
true.
them. They will abuse an open Twitter feed.
Yeah, that's not what needs to be happening. All
But
right.
I do believe in Twitch chat to keep it civil and keep a nice, tame atmosphere if we were to put their chat on the mainstream. Because there are also people who are watching this from like embed websites who don't have the Twitch chat. And I don't know why the hell you would do that, because that's like half the experience. But they have to share in the Twitch chat experience. It's not a viewing experience. It's a whole. It's like all your senses, not just viewing.
Yeah, man. Sorry, I was zoning out for that one. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. I don't pay attention to anything that really anyone says when I'm casting with them anyway, so
I gotcha. Yeah,
it's fine. Especially as it gets later.
I'm sorry, Michael Lewis. I apologize.
No, it's whatever, man. Whatever. At least this is like the most interesting thing to happen in Dota, aside from, TI qualifiers. But since then, this is definitely the most interesting thing.
Well, I mean, we had this situation yesterday where DC DC'd right in the midst of that one team fight and ended up kind of losing them the game as well. And then you also had this was a little bit separate from it, not about DCs, but there's a really cool game that happened yesterday in this tournament where Wings picked Pudge. Did you get to catch that one?
I was sleeping.
Okay. It was awesome. It was one of the coolest things that I saw because I suddenly realized Pudge completely counters Kunkka. You have that like X marks the spot combo, you bring it into the torrent, and then you just pull them out before they are able to find a follow-up. And it was so cool for me to see like a team, not everybody even picks Kunkka nowadays, but they had an answer to him before he even became the beginning of the meta. It was so cool.
What, I think it's like, was it eHome right now that just like spam Kunkka picks?
eHome and eHome Keen, yeah.
Yeah.
eHome Keen will first pick it every time if they get a chance to, but it's been banned out consistently against them.
It was. Yeah, I don't really know about first pick Kunkka. I mean, the hero is so potentially strong, but like you have to land everything all the time, and that's just so hard.
Well, the way that they were doing it before was they would go with like, a CM or something like that. You would have the Frostbite into it, and then Lanham ended up going like a 4. No, he
Yeah,
went.
he goes for like Tidebringer, and then actually goes for like armlet and stuff.
Yeah, he ends up. That's the thing to me that's so cool about him is he turns into a 4th core with like a lot of damage really rapidly. The 85 bonus off of Tidebringer is absurd. So that's pretty good. So
It's so
we've
like non-intuitive as well. Like you play like a support Kunkka, but you're itemizing like a core Kunkka.
Yeah, it's my favorite here. I love that guy. So it's been cool to see him get the buffs slowly over time. I think that we've been paused now longer than we've actually been in the game.
Now that's a benchmark right there.
Unfortunately, it's not always the best. You want to try and keep this going and do what you can to continue to talk about the game, but we've kind of gone over it. For anybody that's just joining us, this was a full disconnect on both sides. It was all of VGR, all of NewB, a couple of the casters. Everybody dropped out. And in the midst of the fight, Hao on the Terrorblade right-clicked and went into the side of Vici Gaming Reborn. He didn't realize it, obviously. He just went for the kills, and because of that, he was able to beat off and kill the Beastmaster. And that has sort of translated us now into a situation where there's no great answer. They can't just back out and head away because they've already taken a lead in the Beastmaster, and they're going to win this fight no matter what, pretty much. So a very unfortunate situation, and right now over in Nanyang, Shanghai, they're trying to solve the problem.
You know, someone is like freaking out over there right now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have no idea what to do because it's not in the rule book. And here we are, nice US of A, just chilling,
Yeah, I mean,
just talking about Kunkka.
talking about Kunkka, talking about Mr. DDC. We could talk a little bit about the teams, actually. I really like talking about VGR. I think that this might be one of my favorite teams in China right now, just because, like, if you think back to the whole saga of Vici Gaming as a whole, it's always been about like bringing pub stars up to an elevated level, trying to find talent within the lower ranks of Chinese Dota, the unsung heroes, if you will. And this totally is emblematic of that. Like, you have FY, who tried to build this team, and he was actually there with Mikasa, who was a stand-in occasionally on the original Vici Gaming when it first came about. And then you've got End, you've got as well. God, why am I blanking on the name here? Oh my goodness. End and Yang, who are two. Wait, no, End.
Yeah.
Oh my God, End and Yang. Okay, GG. What?
We did it, boys. Easiest game. You just get a mass disconnect and you get an easy win.
What? What?
You guys can deposit your rares on your way out.
Is that? That's it?
Hao's gonna get his kills.
That's it?
See, I was not expecting that. Okay. I was expecting they would give up the Beastmaster, the admins will tell Newbee, okay, like give them time to retreat, give them like a head start or something, but then just like play normally, whatever shit happens. I was not expecting VGR to just give up the game or whatever happened.
I don't know what happened. Well,
What?
Newbie victory, I guess. Vici Gaming Reborn just pulled like a Tommen from Game of Thrones. They're like, we don't want to be in this world anymore, and just jumped out the window. I don't even know, man.
God damn it. Newbie, they put that stupid vial in the river and then they put him like this.
Oh no. Alright, well.
Next level triggering all the way across the globe.
I think I
Is
need
this like an official GT, or are they just like ending this game so that they could do something else with it?
That's what I'm trying to find out right now. So I am texting the admins. I'll let everybody out there know what's going on. I might be getting a response right now, but that is. It looks like this. It's over. So Newbie win. Newbie win.
That.
Okay.
Dude, you know what I said? Congratulations, you're an admin. I think you could have come up with a better result than this. I am unhappy with this result.
Oh my goodness! And I think that VGR are as well.